Dean, what are your immediate thoughts after a tough, gritty loss?
Another concussion. 45 seconds into the game. He's taken some hits, LT, this year, but that's not one he gets back up from. I thought he's had a great toughness, but it was a big loss to start the game. Before I get to that, credit to Perth, the way they come out and competed and played hard today. It was a physical contest. It was challenged the referees all night in the way both teams played, but there's some things I'll talk about there. Lou's IC, after I thought he was playing great basketball, so just a little bit of a re-injury to his hamstring there. And Ariel takes his knock that we'll see how that comes up as well, but he was able to continue a little bit to play, but we'll see what happens from that. So you lose 3 pieces in a game that we finally got our full team together, and we just didn't get to play enough together. But credit to the other guys, the minutes that they logged, and obviously Kyle Bowen coming in and getting 16 boards, where that was Perth are doing a good job of crashing the glass and come up with 17-0 boards, and it was an area we wanted to be better at tonight. We weren't quite good enough in that area. And then there's some play calls on the floor to say I'm not sure what they called, if it was a push on Delhi or it was a hands foul, but I go back and watch it after the game and say Saar hit Delhi on the arm. And so if that's what this rule means, to say there's a foul called on the play, and if they called a push or a hands foul, to say it's a foul. And so I can't, Scotty or someone is going to have to tell me what happened on that play, because it's clear as day that an arm comes across his arm and hits the play, and we should be shooting a shot for the win. To overturn that is crazy. There's a couple other plays I want clarification on as well. They get a 4-point play, a tip in, and Chris pushed a guy. Yep, he fouled him, but Usher travels with 4 steps before that one. It's wild when you go watch it back. So, there's a couple of things I just need absolute clarity on, because I thought there were some plays in the game. I thought there was some heavy contact on different things that I didn't think got reviewed and stuff as well. So that's my rant a little bit about the refereeing. We had opportunities to execute better at different times, and we didn't make plays well enough down the stretch.
I don't want to get you fined, but just to follow on the officiating, what's the process as far as asking these questions? Because it's questions that everyone around the league is trying to ask. What's your process as a coach as far as getting these questions to the league?
Yeah, we haven't sent any film in all year. We've just left it alone, and we just turn around and play. But when things decide a game, we need to get the film. We sit down as a coaching staff. These are the 4 or 5 clips that we really want clarification on, and we need it as quickly as possible from Scotty Butler.
Can you talk about what the mindset is when you lose LT very early, you lose Ian very early, and then Bookboardy is sort of on and off? What's the mindset for you as a coach as far as going down to the rest of your guys and making sure that they keep their heads up?
Yeah, we've had guys down the whole season, so that nothing really changes there. I was concerned about, were guys, that logged massive minutes tonight, were they ready for those kind of minutes? Joe showed he was ready for those minutes. Delhi, that's a huge one after, coming off, what he came off as well, off a concussion and different things. So, I was concerned for some of those guys. But I know Tanner Krebs has shown he can play the 4 and the 3, so we used him a little bit there. We thought Cole Bowen was excellent in his coverages and the way he showed and recovered and did a lot of great things there. Flynn Cameron stepping up in the guard area and giving us quality minutes at that spot as well. So we still had good coverage.
Joe, where do you feel like this game was lost? Obviously, it was extremely close, but what do you think the reason was why Perth was able to pull away?
I feel like we kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit when we got to overtime. Just no clarity and no rhythm and flow into our offense. I just felt like we were just kind of winging it a little bit. When the game gets that close and it's overtime, we need to, kind of bog down and figure out 2-3 things that are really working for us and get the ball moving and get good shots. I just feel like maybe we had a couple of good shots, but over the 5-minute stretch, it was just a lack of clarity and just kind of stagnant offense.
Dean, what do you think about the processes offensively in the sort of the end of the game, especially in overtime?
Yeah, I agree. There's some stuff where we didn't have enough movement. I thought when the plays that we called that wanted movement, I thought we kind of floated through them a little bit as well. So, but Delhi put his head down, and he won us the game over in Perth by putting his feet in the paint. And I thought he had some opportunities he did that again, and being able to drop some of those little runners in, or one of our game plans was certainly to put our feet in the paint, have them collapse, and be able to throw it out, and we certainly didn't quite get to that point.
Are you happy with the overall number of nearly 40 3-point attempts, and it looks like only less than 30 attempts in the paint?
Yeah, it's kind of what they give you a little bit. Was there many of those threes to say, the 5 Tanner Krebs takes, the 5 Shay takes? I think they're 10 great 3-point shots, and I back those guys to shoot those any time. So, yeah, I'm not unhappy with the shot distribution at all.
Danny, can you just tell us a bit about the impact of Joe's performance tonight?
Yeah, he's been growing and growing and growing since he's come back in with us, and an opportunity for him to play really big minutes, and I'm sure there was some confidence in his 3-ball in practice this week, and he stepped into that one. There was a couple you probably want back just off the bounce and stuff, and whether he shoots that or whatever, but it's a great game from him, and there's still great areas of improvement from him as well.
And obviously he's touched on Daly a little bit. His performance was pretty inspirational too in that second half.
Yeah, he made some massive plays. Running. We obviously did a solid job on Bryce. He gets the 14 free throws, but one of our goals was to run him off the 3-point line, and I think he 1 of 6 or something like that. And so we did a solid job. We fouled him once, but yeah, Shay and Delhi's ability to chase him around and restrict him and make it very difficult was great.
And just with Ian, is he going to come back for next week's game, or was it just a precautionary thing taking him out of the game because of what happened in Tasmania?
Yeah, there was some hamstring tightness, so we were told by medical staff that he wasn't returning to the game. But yeah, how bad it is, we'll assess it.
Is it a concern going forward in terms of training loads and even the minutes that he can play?
Yeah, it's always a concern when someone doesn't finish the game and doesn't play minutes. He was on a restriction today. We had a number that we wanted to get to, and we quite didn't get to that.
And how was Luke in the rooms?
Yeah, I haven't seen him yet. So the word I got back was that he's up and about and chirpy, and so his symptoms aren't too bad.
You've got a pretty experienced group, but they haven't lost together. This is only their second loss together. Can you talk to us a bit about how you approach this week and if it's any different, especially leading into the throwdown?
This next week coming, how we approach it. Firstly we'll check our health as quickly as we can, and then we know we're going against a team that's playing really good basketball and a really good offensive team, and we know it's a game that they've been sitting waiting for us to have a shot at us, and we'll approach it like we do. We'll go into a review and we'll look at the good things we did, we'll look at the things we can do better, and we'll work out what team we're going to put on the floor, and we'll come up with a game plan that hopefully allows us to finish the game off better.
Shay's game, he almost got a double-double today. How important has he been, not just offensively, but the way he's been playing defensively and carry on from his amazing defensive year last season?
Yeah, he's back to one of the highest level of defenders in the league, and his ability to not get shaken. Bryce is so good at just changing directions quickly, and I thought, Shay's ability just to stay with every one of those movements was great. He's working really hard at his shot, and he's gonna knock those in, and we back him to go ahead and do that. So, yeah, he's gonna finish this year really strong, and we haven't had a lot of minutes with Delhi and Shay, and so we'll keep working on that one and making sure down the stretch of games that we put the ball where we want the ball, and everyone knows exactly what they need to do.
And how important was the bench? Your bench outscored Perth tonight, 57-39. How important has your bench been, and especially how much emphasis has that been going to this week against Perth?
Yeah, we got two guys that came off the bench tonight that probably start on most teams in the league, and we spoke about it. It's not who starts our game; it's who finishes the game for us. And we wanted to put a team together that was. Everyone makes sacrifices, and tonight, people got extra minutes because of the injuries, and so we knew those guys were ready to go ahead and step up. Before we finish, great crowd, sold out again, amazing atmosphere, Indigenous round. Ricky Baldwin had 25 Indigenous kids come down from Dimboola to see our game, 350 k's away, and came down in a police van, and I think this game is continuing to make strides, but to hear a story like that about some kids that got to see their first NBL game, I hope we inspired them to keep going on their journey to be great hoopers.
Just talking about the crowd, Dean, it was definitely noticeable when Perth were shooting their free throws where the atmosphere was just insane, like something that you don't usually see that often, I suppose. Just the emphasis around that, how important is that for you guys, and how do you sort of feed off that energy?
Yeah, did it have an impact on Usher missing his free throws? I'm sure he heard it, I'm sure he felt it, and that's what a home crowd should do. They're giving you energy when you need it, and they're celebrating the success that's happened on the floor, and but they're also making it very difficult for the opposition at the other end. I thought they were fantastic today.
So you're one of the big leaders in this group. What's your message going to be in training this week after the loss and leading into the next game?
It's part of the season. Never going to go through undefeated, so learn what we need to learn from the film and take it on and move on to the next game. Can't dwell on it.
We've talked a little bit about the crowd. It felt like from the sidelines that it's probably in that last 2 minutes was pretty crazy. It's about as loud as it's been here for a long time. And you love that crowd interaction. How did you kind of experience on the court? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have the best fans in the league, so having them support us. We have near sellouts every home game, so it's special, and they definitely make an impact, so appreciate the fans.
Cheers.